Welcome to the Theta Xi Fraternity Alpha Beta Chapter 2025 summer events. This is our second of the summer events. The first was on July 10th. And if you didn't have a chance to see that, you can find it on our website. It's about a 30-minute YouTube, and it's definitely worth watching if you're somebody who's going into college or somebody who's still in college for that matter. My name is David Hirsch. I'm a president of the Alpha Beta Alumni Association Board of Directors, and it's my pleasure to make some introductions tonight. So our featured speaker is Larry Kaufman, and the topic of tonight's conversation is how LinkedIn and building relationships during and after college will be transformative for your career journey. Larry is a longtime friend. I think we've been friends for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years. He's a best-selling author of a book entitled The NCG Factor. He's a regional managing director at Jefferson Wells. He's a global keynote speaker. And one of the things that I knew about Larry from the very first time that I met him is that he leaned into LinkedIn when LinkedIn wasn't what it is today. Really learned the thing backwards and forwards, and not just for his own personal use, but for companies' purposes. And while that's not going to be the focus of tonight's conversation, I think it provides you with an understanding that this is not just, how do you use LinkedIn to get jobs or to develop business as an individual. He actually created a presentation, and he went from C-suite to C-suite for small, medium, and some large companies in the Chicago area and beyond. And he went up to these C-suite executives and said, "Hey, I want to show you how to use LinkedIn to recruit and to develop business." Well, if you just had half an inkling or curiosity about LinkedIn, he got his foot in the door. And he was doing this like gratis, but he was working for an accounting firm, and this gave the accounting firm the opportunity to get their foot in the door. I don't know that I'd call Larry a Trojan horse, but he was very, very successful. And I know that he doesn't go by this moniker anymore, but a decade or more ago, there was something that a lot of people referred to as LinkedIn Lions, LIONS. And I had no idea what that was, but it stands for LinkedIn Open Networkers. And the people that are LinkedIn Lions maxed out the number of connections that they have, like Larry did, like at 30,000. I think that's the number. So anyway, I think you're in for a real treat tonight. So I'm going to be opening the program like I have. And then Tristan Kopaz, who's one of my undergraduate fraternity brothers, is going to be closing the program. So I'd like to turn the Zoom stage over to my good friend, Larry Kaufman.
Well, thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. Thanks for those that are joining tonight. And I know it's later for some, earlier for others. Not sure where everybody is, but I'm here in Chicago. And thank you, David. Thank you, Tristan. A couple of you have heard me before. You're going to hear me again, but hopefully this will be new for the rest of you. But thanks for that great introduction. I'm going to go for about an hour and 15 till 8:15 Central Standard Time. I'll try to go efficiently and quickly, but I do want to get out some good insights and information. So here's the agenda. So I'm going to talk about myself because I love to, and it's a good topic. And well, I'll share a little bit about my company for good reason. You'll understand why. Yes, LinkedIn is my thing, so that is built into my book. If you see me with this background, I'm promoting my company and my book, so they let me do it. So I'm going to talk about the NCG factor. That is networking, connecting, giving. I'll define that a little bit. I'll give you guys some homework. And if you have questions, Tristan and or David, you'll put them in the chat and you guys will call those out to me as we move along. So what's going to happen tonight? Well, hopefully you'll be on that path towards that transformation, on your career journey. You're going to learn maybe 3 new things, hopefully a lot more. And then I'm going to be your SME on connecting LinkedIn. And so SME is subject matter expert. So this is my favorite slide. So I know that David's talking about the lion. I like LinkedIn Larry. That's what people they've been calling me that for many years. I got that name in Vegas where I was actually married. I'm heading back out to speak in October, in Vegas, and this name is stuck. And I am the regional managing director of Jefferson Wells. I'll talk about that in a moment, but I've been out there for 30 plus years in business development and leadership roles. I wrote my book in 2019, and I've been speaking about LinkedIn really for about 20 years almost. So, was an early adopter. And as David said, I kind of immersed myself in sharing my knowledge all over on a global scale, actually. So, you may or may not have heard of Manpower Group. Now, some of you may have. I have to tell you, Manpower Group puts 600,000 people to work every single day around the globe. So it's kind of this workforce solutions company. And I would tell you, visit the site manpowergroup.com. This company has put my son to work during I would say, when it was holiday time, some summers, and it was, the FedExes of the world and other companies. But we post a lot of jobs and all types of roles. I would say not many entry level, but definitely those, summer internship type jobs. You may find things that are aligned to your world. Check it out. And that is, the slide on my company. I'm not going to talk any further. I am a quote guy. So this is my quote, one of them that I like. What we do for ourselves dies with us, and what we do for others in the world remains and is immortal. I am an others focused person. I put everybody else before me. It's all about the other person. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk a lot about today. And I'll tie that into LinkedIn, but kind of my theme for today is, are you helping others? And I know, some of you are incoming freshmen. It's hard to, think that way. I have to tell you, when I went to school, I'm sorry I was not a U of I guy, I was Loyola, but I was Larry focused. So hopefully you are others focused, or I can get you thinking that way. The why and the how, can you be helping others? So before I go into some of the why and how, let me share a few quick stories. I think that will be helpful. So, am I others focused? Yes. So, how? So, one day I was driving in my car in Chicago. I got a call from an executive at my company. This executive, she will be running our company in short order as the CEO. We're a $20 billion global public company. She called me on my cell. Why is she calling me on my cell? That never happens. I do know this woman, Becky, but she never called me. So I thought it was going to be bad news. It was good news. She needed my help. She said, Larry, I'm looking for help for my daughter. She likes the world of finance. I'm in that world. So Larry, I'm looking to get her an internship, and she's done something for Aon, the big insurance brokerage, and EY for a day. Just sort of those fake shadowing internships. She wants a real one. I said, Becky, connect us. I'll get her set up on LinkedIn, right on LinkedIn, Larry, and I will find her an internship. Say, Larry, as a junior, it's so hard to find an internship. I'm glad that you could help her out. And she said, as a junior in high school is really what she said. And so she was not a junior in college. She was a junior in high school. I wanted to hang up on Becky. I didn't know what to do. And I said, Becky, juniors in college are struggling to find internships, let alone a junior in high school. Now I'm thinking, Becky, she's going to be the CEO. Now it doesn't matter. I've helped many people in my company at much lower levels in the org chart. But I said, Becky, I like challenges. I'm up for it. I'm going to do it. I did find her daughter an internship. I did get her set up on LinkedIn. She's got a better profile, a bigger network than most people when she was in high school that are out of college, that are mid to late career level. I found her an internship, a paid internship at one of the largest accounting firms in the world. And let's say that was a big win. So that's good. So I'm helping others. Let me share two other quick stories. Another quick story. This is very recent. I was interviewing people to work on my team. I run sales and operations. I've got 60 people on my staff. And we were trying to hire a salesperson in Chicago. We met this guy, Mark. He was awesome. Mark wanted a lot of money, and our salary structure is aggressive, but not that aggressive. But I love Mark and I wanted to help him. How many people do this? I worked to help Mark to get him a job at another company. It was actually an accounting firm. I knew they were looking for a salesperson in Chicago. I knew their comp structure better aligned with Mark. And we partner with this firm. So I thought, why not introduce Mark? He got the job. Mark's happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. I got a free lunch. So it was a good deal. Mark was very pleased, but I did a good thing. I felt good about it, helping someone else. Last quick story. Someone on my sales team said, Larry, I'm working with a prospective client. His name is Larry. And he's got a daughter who's in her 30s and she's really ill, has a rare disease, and is trying to get to a specialist in St. Louis at this medical center. And I was wondering if you could help Larry and his daughter to get to this specialist in St. Louis. Why would they come to me? Because I love helping others. I'm very connected, and my staff and team know to come to me for those unusual requests too. Well, I actually did get Larry and his daughter to that specialist, and they decided not to work with that specialist, but I gave them that option. I got them there. I built a relationship with Larry. We're still in touch today. He's someone that people like David and others who are a little more mature, like myself, would know Larry in the day and what he's done and who he is. I've kept in touch with Larry and his daughter Sarah, and I recently reached out last year. I said, "This is about March." I said, "How's Sarah doing?" So, well, she's doing worse. Something new has cropped up, and we're going to go to a hospital in Chicago with a specialist. We're going in October. I said, "What?" "She's really sick right now. It's March." "What's the name of the specialist?" 2 weeks later, they met with the specialist. So I love helping others and going the extra mile. And when you're going to help others yourselves, you can leverage a David, you could leverage a Larry. Don't have to do it alone. Let's talk more about the why and how. Why? Why do you want to help others? You could be a standout, very memorable to faculty, to your student peers, right? To your fraternity peers. It's going to help you to build more authentic, real relationships. I know this is a hard concept to think about, but if I can get you there early on, I wasn't there. But I didn't have LinkedIn back in the day. I didn't have a cell phone. So I don't think we had internet back then, right, David? So very different back then in the 80s. Yes, the 80s. Giving first will come back many times over. Just remember that. Now the how. Tutor or mentor student peers. I have to tell you, I could not tutor or mentor anyone. Maybe in public speaking, that was my strength back at Loyola, my only A in college. But maybe you guys are smart in particular areas, but you don't offer up to help. Try it. Volunteer for charities. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe you have a passion, something in the family, something's going on with someone in the family that you want to support a charity. And through your network, that you could help others, becoming a connector. So becoming a connector, I shared some, stories of how I was helping others. I connect people to people. I connected that gentleman to a job, to someone I knew at this accounting firm. He got that job. I connected Larry and his daughter to multiple people to help them. So keep that in mind. And we're going to kind of shift gears now because I want to roll to LinkedIn. So a big segment of this is LinkedIn, and the final portion is going to be my book. I don't care what superhero you like. I know Superman's out. Yes, I saw it, pretty good, but this isn't to be relatable because LinkedIn is new to a lot of you. I'm vengeing some tonight. I'm really getting sick of your LinkedIn invites. So as you join LinkedIn, maybe some of your high school, now college peers are connecting, reaching out. I want you to really enjoy LinkedIn and understand the power and value. Over my tenure using LinkedIn, I have almost 30,000 connections. I have over 31,000 people following me. roughly 31. I think I'm a few short. Now, if you guys have LinkedIn on your phones, your Droids or iPhones, can you take those out right now, if that's okay? Hopefully you do. If you don't, watch along, but load it on your phones after. We're going to do two quick exercises. Now, on the far left, so when you get to the app, the far left, if you look, you got Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is a billionaire, the original founder of LinkedIn. I actually did reach out to Reid early on to connect on LinkedIn. He flatly declined because I didn't know him. I wasn't introduced. And, I'm not bothered by that. That's fine. I made my attempt. I moved on. But I want to show you guys how to invite people on LinkedIn on the app. And you need to follow this process to personalize the invite. Otherwise, if you don't, when you try to invite people without personalizing, it's a default message. When you go on the website, on the LinkedIn website, always go to someone's profile page. You go to my profile page, and then you want to connect to my network and send me a customized, personalized message. So on the app, here's what you're going to do. If you guys see this window where it says Reid Hoffman at the top in the search window, I'd like you to type in my name. So it's Larry, Kaufman. So find me on LinkedIn. I'm in all caps in Chicago. And when you get to my profile, click on my profile. And once you get there, what you want to do, you see the middle where it says message. You'll see a little blue button. To the right, you're going to see three dots. Touch that with your finger. And then the middle image should appear. And you'll see, you can scroll down. You'll see personalized invite where I have that red arrow. Touch that with your finger. And then what I'd like you guys to do is to send me a little message, something nice. Please be nice. And so if you don't know how to be nice, you just go, "Hey, I'm here for Theta Xi." Fine. I'm a U of I person. Fine. But send me a nice custom message. Next thing I'm going to have you do, and you can't do this live like we did this in on site at the university when I came out for the presentation. This is kind of cool. You guys are meeting people all the time. You go to sports events. You just hang out with like a neighborhood, event, whatever it may be, a social event. And then eventually you'll start to network with people, but maybe not yet quite now. But I want to show you something kind of cool. And I know you guys know the QR codes when you go to the movie theater, right? So you have your QR code and they take that their own, it looks like a phone and they're scanning you in. This is a very similar approach through LinkedIn because you have a QR code when you have a LinkedIn profile. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to test the waters with this, but when you go to an event and you meet someone kind of cool, you're going to say, "Hey, do you have the LinkedIn app?" "Yes, I do." And then what you're going to do, if they don't know how to do this, you'll show them. So in the search window, touch your finger in the search window, and you should see that little symbol to the right. And you're going to touch that in the search window with your finger. And after you do so, it may actually tell you to enable a setting. So do so. And then you would have the middle image. So let's say you're with David. One of you will scan. So you're using your phone's camera. When you touch my code, your QR code comes up. There you go, David. And so you'll hold the phone camera over, and then David's profile comes up, and then you'll click connect, like I showed you how to do it when the profile comes up. It is awesome. It's fantastic. It works really well. I encourage you to enable that, use it whenever, wherever you can, because you'll meet some cool people. People don't carry business cards around. I stopped carrying them. This is a way to work around that. Are there any questions on that exercise or connecting before I proceed? Okay. So I can't see people, David, so I don't know what people are doing, but hopefully they're learning and listening. Now, Kevin Bacon is from my past. He's still out there. He's still alive, by the way. So he's a couple years older than me. Now, Kevin's out there, and some of you may know of Kevin from your parents and grandparents, from Footloose, one of his past movies or Tremors or others. But there's this game called The 6 Degrees of Separation to Kevin Bacon. LinkedIn is 3 degrees. So when you're on LinkedIn, you'll see first degree, which means that's someone you're connected to directly. Second degree, once you're connected to me, you have access to my almost 30,000 because I can't go above it. So I always stay close to it. My 29,000 plus connections are second degree to you. That means I'm the pathway to over 29,000 people that you may want to meet for your career, for an internship, for an entry level job, or for another reason. Third degree, it's not great. There's no great pathway to a third degree. It's really a cold call in the world of sales. The stronger your first level connections, the better your network is. So you build a strong first level base of the right types of people, you're in good shape. Now, I want you guys to, look to the lower left of your screen. Now, it's not a spaceship, it's called a Rolodex. And in our day, in David's day, my day, this was something that we used to house our coveted relationships. We could like tape a business card on there, or we'd write out the person's information. And that was very private, protected. That was the Holy Grail. Now, when you think about LinkedIn today and you think about the Rolodex of the past, and I always like doing this. I did this when I was, at U of I live. But David, going back in time, so this pre-LinkedIn, if we were meeting in Barrington for coffee and we're having a great conversation, I said, David, I think you're a good guy. You're very connected. You know a lot of people. If it's okay, I'm going to send a messenger because that's how we did it in the day. A messenger service will drive over to your office and they're going to pick up your Rolodex so I could take a look at it at my leisure. And David's immediate reaction would be,
Not a chance.
I think David was sending me a hand gesture that was not very nice. Okay. So basically it would never happen, right? Never. Now, when you connect with me today, or if you're not connected to David or others, you have access to my 29,000, 365, 24/7. You could look at my network on LinkedIn. Think about that. Think about all the Theta Xi U of I alumni that you connect with. Think about access to David's network to look and go, hey, David knows a CFO at a major company and I want to work there. They have an internship or an entry level job. How awesome and incredible is that? So think about the power of LinkedIn that you could look at people's networks. Believe me, I'm connected to everybody. I have a global network of almost 30,000 people. So this LinkedIn Rolodex has made me a better connector, giver, and trusted advisor. Now, let me share some stats with you. LinkedIn wants to be at 3 billion users. Today, there's just over a billion. The average leader, business like myself, we have 930. I'm an overachiever, right, with almost 30,000. 40 million members on LinkedIn who are decision makers, people that could hire you for internships or entry level jobs. 65% of the companies use it as a sales tool. I train a lot of people, entry level and up, to use it to generate new clients. I do with my staff at Jefferson Wells. 5.5 million people are accountants. 3 million people share content. So when you go on LinkedIn on the homepage and you see a cool post and you like it, you're sharing content. 9 million companies out there and growing all the time. Average user has 400 connections. Now, I know we have incoming freshmen, others here on the meeting tonight. All of you should be at 500 or more. If Becky's daughter is a junior in high school, had over 500 connections after I shared with her how to use the tool, you better believe I'm telling you all, you need to be at 500 or more. LinkedIn you could use for thought leadership. So maybe you'll post, maybe you won't. But if you have an expertise entering college and you want to share something, or there's an event at U of I or for Theta Xi and you want to share it, you could post on LinkedIn. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you got a cool quote. And so all I'll tell you is this is an example of one of my posts and one of Greg's posts. Greg is in my book, The NCG Factor. He's a sales recruiter. He is awesome. This post, if you could see the red boxes, it generated over 45,000 likes. Really there was like 3 million impressions on this post. It's a terrible post. It was nothing special, but it worked for Greg. I was disappointed that my posts never generated anything like that because Greg didn't have as many connections as me, but it just hit home with people. My post is pretty good, but if you look, I had 360 likes, 142,000 impressions. Not bad. This is about ghosting because it does happen, just so you know. When you apply for an internship, entry level job, you may get ghosted. And guess what? You may ghost people too. I hope you're not one of those people. Don't do it. I don't like candidates that ghost, but companies are doing it. It's shameful. Now, what I did for you guys is I pulled together some of the most followed hashtags. Hashtags are something people will put in a post because people follow hashtags like innovation, management, human resources. And you could put some of those top hashtags in a post that you put out on LinkedIn. And you could see the millions of followers for these posts. You'll get a copy of this deck. Now, you're not networking, but you know what? I'll bet some of your parents may go, "Oh, you need to meet my friend David." Like, "Oh God, I got to meet with this old guy." Sorry, David, I didn't mean that. You're like, "Oh,
I'm not the oldest guy on the call, but thank you, Larry.
okay, you're welcome." And I'm not either. Anyway, so you're gonna meet with David. That's a good thing, right? So when you meet with someone like David and you're networking one to one virtually on Zoom or Teams or another platform, you may talk about family, personal stuff, and David's gonna quiz you about what you're looking to do. Maybe you want an internship, an entry level job, and then you know what? You may have been pretty aggressive. You connected with David beforehand. You looked at his network. You even picked out some people you wanted to know. There's nothing wrong with it. You just got to do it the right way. But what I want to tell you is you will want your parents to introduce you to people. You will want other people to introduce you to people at companies that are hiring or executives at companies to build relationships with. And I ask, have you created your own introduction? So this is your first homework exercise that you will have to execute post session is to create your own introduction in the third person. So if you said, Larry, I want to know the chief marketing officer at Conagra Foods. There's an opportunity there, or I just want to network with that person. Do you think he would meet with me? And I'm like, yeah, I think he would. Can you send me your introduction in the third person with your resume so I can introduce you? So create your own intro, and you're going to get this deck, as I mentioned. This kind of lines up with some things you could say, this is mine. Now, if I'm introducing David, maybe I don't know what to say. So sometimes I introduce people, right? And so if David didn't send me his intro, I do use AI. So I will tell you, I'm going to talk about this tonight. Use AI. We're a Copilot shop because we're a Microsoft, shop for a lot of our tools. And so Microsoft Copilot, there are free versions. You can go to Chat GPT, use it for free. So my question to Copilot was, can you share a short paragraph introduction written in the third person about David Hirsch, SVP at UBS? This is what they came up with. So not bad, pretty good. Dave would probably go, it's okay. But
Mm,
this is a quick brief. I may embellish because I know him better, but this is a way to use AI.
a little
Now,
dated, just for the record, but good start.
but I will tell you, and that's a good point, because AI is not perfect. Sometimes you have to fact check. But thanks for sharing. Yeah, maybe a little dated, correct. this is about research preparation and follow-up. So let's say you do have an interview. You get introduced, however it happened, you applied online, you have an interview for an internship or entry-level job. Funny enough, someone I helped get a job at a private equity firm running four operating companies. This executive, CEO, former CEO, and CFO said, "Could you help my son?" And her son had actually graduated college, got his master's. Brilliant, brilliant. And he likes sending pre-interview emails. So when you get invited, you could see like it's an Outlook invite or it's a Zoom invite. You could look within the invite and see who's on it, and you can actually see their email address. So he likes to say, "Hey, Mr. Hirsch, I'm looking forward to meeting with you next Tuesday at 9." And maybe you look at David's profile on LinkedIn, there's something interesting, and I'd love to learn more about X that I read about you. I found that very impressive. So kind of cool, something that this gentleman does. Now, also, I would look at if there is second degree connection, it means you have one or more connections in common. So if you're meeting with David and you see David knows me and you know me, Larry, how do you know David? Give me a call, send me an email, and I can give you some insights. Look at the profile. Is there anything interesting in someone's profile? And so I'll tell you, it's really powerful, and a lot of people don't do it. But you look at someone's profile, and maybe they were on the rowing team, or they were, they played D1 baseball. Bring it up. Maybe you see something in their profile. I know there's a weird one, but if I saw a marching band next to David's University and nothing else during the interview, I'd be like, "Hey, Mr. Hirsch, tell me about what instrument you played in the marching band." He'd be like, "Oh my God, how'd you know that?" I did my research, and it's just something that you're sharing during that conversation, but you stand out because other people may have never mentioned that during the interview. So really look at profiles before you meet with people. So I mentioned the shared connections, company research, use AI. If you're a finance person, look at the annual report, see if there's anything interesting. You can actually use AI to search through the annual report and give you some insights. It's amazing, amazing what you could do with AI. And ask great thought-provoking questions. One of my favorites that I like that I came up with is, what would prevent you from selecting me as an intern or as an entry-level hire for this particular role? It's very hard to answer that, so they have to really think about why. And sometimes they end up saying, "You know what? Nothing would prevent me from hiring you. You actually have all the skills and expertise we want for this role." And you know what? You guys could do this. I don't know if anyone likes videos, creating videos. You got TikTok, YouTube. Send a video message as a follow-up to an interview. Be creative. And then what I did was I included here. So if you look here, so here are some thought-provoking questions that you can ask a hiring executive. So I put these in. I'm not going to read all these, but take a look at these. You could use these. You can ask ChatGPT to be more specific for a company and industry with questions that would be good to ask during that interview. But I do like asking about what are the next steps. So this isn't to happen to you. You're going out for an internship and you don't win. I want you to win. You're going out for an entry level job. You don't win. I want you to win. A lot of people have a good interview. They think and they say, "David, what are the next steps? I'm really interested in this internship." I'd rather have you come back and say, "David, I really enjoyed meeting with you. I enjoyed meeting Tom and Mary as well. I like the culture. I like what this internship will bring to my world, and kind of gaining more expertise and experience. But I know that you wanted X, Y, and Z for this particular role, and I demonstrated I do have those skills and experience. I'm very interested in stepping into this internship role. What are the next steps to get me there?" So you kind of have to earn that right to ask for the next steps, in my opinion, instead of the general, yeah, what are the next steps? And that makes you stand out. I mentioned doing some of that AI prep. So I did this for Abbott Labs in Chicago. What are three important things to know about Abbott Laboratories as a potential internship candidate for the company? You could say as a potential finance intern, as a marketing intern, whatever it may be. And then AI will come up with some things that will really help you. So you can see I love talking about AI because it's great. Some networking best practices. Connect with professors at U of I, Theta Xi alumni, fellow students on LinkedIn, right? Meet with people, meet with department heads, professors quarterly. I know it sounds strange. I didn't do it in my day. You could do it. You could look at their LinkedIn profiles, connect with them on LinkedIn. Why not find a way to work for a department head in a role aligned with your major, even if it's free? Get the experience, build up your resume. Join a charity junior board, volunteer. You meet board members. David, myself, others, we sit on boards. We've been on boards. You meet a lot of great people. Meet with the friends of your parents, family members, your own friends' parents. So you just never know. It's really just putting yourself out there and networking a lot. And as go to your friend's house and you meet their mom or dad and ask the question, what do you do? Where do you work? And connect with them on LinkedIn. It's not weird. Maybe it is for some, but you know what? It's competitive out there. You have to stand out. You have to do a little bit more today than you did in the past. And I mentioned here lastly, connect with U of I alumni in your field at companies of interest. So LinkedIn can help you in many ways and help others. You could definitely find recruiters for a career position on LinkedIn. Usually for entry level internships, you don't, but you can help others. Connect with recruiters for more mid level, higher level roles. Internships. I'm going to show you that quickly. We don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to show you some of that on LinkedIn Live. Networking introductions. I know you're building your networks out, but as you connect with some of these U of I, Theta Xi alumni, you're connecting to some pretty impressive professionals. And you may end up introducing some of these folks like myself or David or others to others in your world. And I mentioned dispute resolution because I've resolved a lot of issues with airlines, companies that manufacture and sell furniture, cable companies, because on LinkedIn, you could find decision makers at these companies. It's pretty powerful. I'm going to do a stop share and then I'm going to bring up my LinkedIn page and I'm going to go through some stuff there. But while I'm doing that, if there's any questions, because I went fast, a lot of ground to cover so I can get you guys out at a reasonable hour. Any questions so far? I don't see people. I know you guys are off camera, but are you guys learning something?
I'm seeing a lot of positive messages, at least directly to me in the chat. So keep going there. And I'll just mention the things that he was talking about, the volunteering, the networking, the connecting with a professor at the university. For those that haven't seen the presentation we did on July 10th or the video of the presentation we did on July 10th, it's very consistent, right? Theta Xi is about scholarship, it's about leadership, it's about community service. So thank you for reinforcing that message, Barry.
My pleasure. Are there any questions in the chat? I see some things there. Do you want to cover anything before I proceed?
Nope, let's keep going.
Okay, we'll keep going. So this is the homepage of LinkedIn. I'm going to show you a few things live. This will be really helpful for you guys. A lot of people think LinkedIn is just click in the search window, type in a company or person. It is much more. And this is the homepage. So when I mentioned 3 million people are sharing content, if I like this or I comment, I'm sharing content, right? I could, repost it with comments, whatever I want to do, that is sharing content. I could post anything, right? I could start a post and I could just make a quote. So you can do anything here. And then over here, I could add a picture, I could add a slide from a PowerPoint, a PDF, whatever I want to do. And then I could also, I could tag people. So David works at UBS. I could tag UBS. I could tag David Hirsch, right? So I can tag David and notifications in the upper right. He'll know he was tagged in a post. And then, I could also, do a hashtag, right? So internships, I could do that. I could put anything as a hashtag. I'd say when you post, 3 to 5 hashtags are pretty good. So you could post, and I would say in a post, you have limitations on how beautiful it looks. The formatting, it's pretty limited, and there's a limited character count, but I have to tell you, it's hard to run out. But if you want to write an article, you could see you could do much more in writing an article. And this is all for free members. You don't have to pay for a membership to do this. You will notice if you want to view, who's checking out who's viewing your profile. As a free member, you really don't get to see that. But I do. I see Brandon was checking me out, right? I see people were checking out my profile.
Mhm.
Now, Wissam was checking me out, right, about 3 hours ago. So I'm connected to him. But if I saw someone that wasn't connected to me that looked like an interesting person, I can go on their profile and try to connect with them. Let me look for a second degree that was checking me out, and see if there's someone I'd want to connect with. So here's Schaefer. Schaefer was checking me out. Schaefer's at my company, right? So I can click connect. This is on the website. I can click connect and I can add a note. Free members have 200 characters to write a message. I get 300. It's a lot. Even 200 is a lot. Make it a good message. You want to connect with someone.
Larry,
Now,
there's a question in the chat which
yep,
has to do with that exact same feature. Brandon asked, um, is it worth paying the premium? What do you get for the premium membership, I guess is the question.
Brandon, good question. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Today, the things I show you, I want you to play around with LinkedIn. There's some that comes up a message that says you're approaching your commercial search limit. That's sort of a red flag that you may want to pay for a membership. And I'm going to show you when you're searching why you would actually potentially hit your search limit. But it resets the first of the next month. So August 1st, it would reset. Now, why would you pay for a membership? Maybe you want to see who's viewing your profile. That's one reason why you'd pay. Maybe you want to search and have unlimited searching, which I'll show you. Maybe another reason why you want to pay. When I showed you to invite someone, that's where you could send a message, but it's a limited character count. If you pay for a membership, you get what's called an in-mail. You get an in-mail bank. It's almost like emails. Unlimited character count, you can include attachments and you could send an in-mail or a message to anyone on LinkedIn, whether you're first, second, third degree. When you're first, you can message each other all day long. But that's another reason to pay. And then there's premium insights and there's also LinkedIn Learning. And so there's a lot of interesting things that you could do. So learning. So that would be why you'd pay. Try it for free. And if you guys got spare money to spend that you're not asking your parents for, it's going to be roughly about $50 a month to get sort of a basic paid membership. But good question. So let me keep rolling so I can get through some things that will be helpful. So this is the homepage. I don't do much more than look at, who's viewing my profile. Maybe I post, I look at what's happening here, with the content, and then maybe LinkedIn news. Now, also, when you look at my network, so when you guys come over here, as you start to build out your network, thank you guys. I will accept. I appreciate that as long as you're nice to me. But if you look, you see catch-ups. And when you connect with people, catch-up, you could see like job changes, birthdays, maybe like, oh, here's John, and maybe I know John real well. I may email John separately and say happy birthday. Job changes, things I notice, I may message people. Let me go back. So over here, I'm going to go back to this toolbar. I'm going to go to jobs. Jobs you're going to use quite a bit if you're looking for jobs. And I'm going too fast, so I'm going to click on jobs. LinkedIn doesn't want to let me go to jobs today. Okay. So here's jobs. So if you are looking for an internship, maybe you're looking to be a finance intern. I see it seems to be a common theme at U of I. Now, you could look across the US because that was already included here. You could change US to greater, Chicago or Dallas or whatever you want, doesn't matter. So I've done finance intern United States. What I like to do, there's 2,600 results. It's a lot. So I like to go to all filters. And you know what? Today, if you're going to look for an internship, do you want one that was posted anytime? The past month? How about the past week? Look to the lower right, it shows over 1,000 results posted the past week. What about the past 24 hours? Isn't that better for you? The most recent posted? There's over 1,000 posted the past 24 hours. Now, if you're looking across the United States, you're probably gonna have to go for a remote role. So if you scroll down, let's see if I can find it in here. Sometimes I go too fast. Here we go. So remote. 75 remote finance internships. Maybe it's not bad for you. That's okay. You could do that. Now, we could also shift and change and go, wait a minute, I want on site and remote. So 609. And maybe you want to shift up locations. You could add some more locations and be specific. What's in Chicago? 27. Because I live in Chicago. So it said 27. There's actually 34 posts in the past 24 hours. Now, I said remote and on-site. What if I don't want to do remote and I want to do hybrid on-site, not remote? So you can keep playing around with the filters. So there are showing 43 remote, 43 roles, 43 roles that are in Chicago, Illinois, posted in the past 24 hours. Now, when you see like it says select recruiting group, it's a recruiter. It's not a company posting it. Now, if we look and we scroll down, AJ Capital Partners, SVP of accounting, no, that's not what you're looking for. So you want to find a finance intern role. Here's one, 2026. So I look at 2026 finance intern T5 data centers. So you look and see if you're a match for the role, qualifications. Now you could apply, and there's 22 people applied in the past 11 hours, or you can click on the company page. And you could see, can you find a pathway that someone could help you break into that company? Now, this is what I do for other people. I come to the company page and I click on the 201 to 500 employees. Now, if I scroll down, there's 47 pages of people at this company. I want to see, can I break into this company? Remember, it's a finance role, but if you want to get a job at a company, you see I clicked on all filters. I go very fast. I clicked on all filters. If I scroll down, if I'm going to try to get a job at a company, I got to go to human resources or talent or recruiter. So if I type in the word human at the bottom, show results, there's a few people. So here's Patricia. She's in Denmark, and I share one contact in common. Here's Mary. She's in Atlanta. I share one, two, three people. Hey, Marcy, how do you know Mary in Atlanta at T5 data centers? Oh, she's my aunt. Can you get my resume over to her? There's a job opening I'm interested in. That's how you can do it. That's how I do it. Now, I know that was a lot to go through. I'm just going to click back real quick. I'm going to show you guys a few more things because I could spend hours here, but I want to keep to the time limit. So I'm going to go back to the page here. I would set an alert for this search. You can change up all your searches. You could do United States for one. You could just do Chicago for one. You can go back to all filters and you like certain industries. You could pick industries as well. So much you could do with the filters for jobs, and then you get alerts. So it's kind of a cool thing to do. Nothing wrong with applying, but if you can find a pathway or before you apply or reach out to some Theta Xi folks that are alumni and say, hey, do you know anyone at T5 data centers? Or do what I showed you and go to the company page and find a way in. So it's a lot to take in. We're recording this, so you'll get the recording and you can go back and see what I did and kind of, pause and try it yourself. Now you could just type in a company. So I'm in Chicago, so I mentioned Abbott before, big company. So it's not too different. I click on the company page, company name, I'm at the company page. Same thing, I click on the 10,000 plus employees. That's a lot of pages to go through, right? It's going to be 100 plus pages. I go back to all filters and I go, well, I want to find someone in human resources, right? There's going to be a lot. So in human resources, 72 pages. What if I did this? Here, this kind of cool. So what if I go over here and I go University of Illinois? Okay, now these are HR people, only three that went to U of I. So here's someone in Libertyville, someone in Virginia, and Minnesota. How about that? Kind of cool. That's how you do the company. And then I want to show you one other search because you want to network too, because maybe you have your sights set on a company of interest. There's a company you'd love to work for. And so what's a cool company? David, UBS, it's a cool company.
Cool enough. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's the coolest company, but
Oh, it's
maybe like Google. That's a pretty cool company.
okay, Google. Fine. Okay, so let's look at Google. So let me just pull up Google. Here it is. Now, I'm going to click on the 10,000 plus employees and I'm going to click on all filters and I'm going to say, you know what? So maybe you look at Google where you live. Now it's tying in other companies. I just may kick those out of there. And then I may go, okay, I want to know maybe people in the US, or I go, Chicago's got a pretty big Google presence. So I'll do Greater Chicago, show results. Now, in Greater Chicago, there's 100 pages. That's a lot. Well, again, if I go to all filters, what if I say, hey, U of I folks? How about that? What's that look like? 30 pages. How about this?
That's
How about this? So check this
insane.
out. What if I put theta, xi in quotes? Do you know Randy? You know Randy? So Randy, he's
Yeah.
at
I
Google,
don't,
theta xi. How about
yeah,
that, David?
that's impressive.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I could spend all day here. The last thing I want to show you is profile. It's real important. By the way, under me here, some things to check out, settings and privacy, check through it. Help, you will need help. Check out help. It's very good. All I'll say about my profile, because I want to finish with my book. Put in a good picture, folks. Really, just get a professional one done, use AI, or have someone, hey, your phones take great pictures. Take a great picture. Put a good background, right? So I know, let me do this real quick and I'll come back to my profile. Tristan, here's Tristan, not to pick on you. Look what he did. So if you need help, Tristan will help you do this. That was cool. Agreed? Pretty cool. So Tristan's got a real nice profile. I'm going to come back to mine because mine's really kind of awesome, to be honest with you. Mine is a template of ideas. So here's my name, all caps. Why did I do that? I'd like to stand out. I'd like to shout. It proves I've got a big ego. Big name and caps. You could verify your profile. That's fine. This little icon in your LinkedIn app. So if you go on the LinkedIn app in the same section where you're looking at the profile, you will see pronunciation as an option. When you click on that, you could record your name. And when you're bored after this presentation, click on that icon, click on this. Some of you have very difficult names to pronounce. It's a great tool for pronouncing your name, but for branding yourself, listen to mine. Headline. Look, you may be a freshman. You go, I'm a freshman at U of I. Maybe say theta xi in your headline, right? But maybe you have an interest in finance, right? Maybe private equity, investment banking. Who cares? Throw it all in there. And maybe you're kind of cool. Maybe you're an Ironman. Maybe you are a triathlete. Maybe you're a black belt in a martial art. Maybe you're not so cool, But if you have some cool things to say, put it out there. And then I will tell you this about section. If it's not in your profile, add profile section. This is where you find everything you should add. This is how you talk about yourself, who you are, what you aspire to do, maybe what you've done. If you're philanthropic, if you volunteer, if you've done some cool things, look at mine for ideas. But this section here are my interesting facts, and I am interesting, and you wouldn't have known that unless you went to my profile. I am kind of cool, and David knows it. So, anyway, I want to roll forward because I still have a lot of ground to cover. Look at my profile for ideas, and this will help you in your profile creation. So I'm going to exit out of LinkedIn. If there's time at the end or people want to stick around, I'll come back to it. Are we learning things with the people I can see? Yes. Is everyone awake? Okay, this is past my bedtime, just so you know. Okay, let me keep going. I'm going to bring back the deck. Thanks for bearing with me. So in the next 15, stick around. I'm moving forward and I'm talking about the NCG factor. This will kind of bring it home. Remember I said I like quotes? The quotes I like the best, David knows this, are my own quotes. It's my big ego. If you lead with yourself, you will leave with yourself. Have you ever met anyone, maybe an adult, not that you're not adults, you are, you're young adults, a mature adult, or even someone your age, right? That just seems to talk and talk and talk. If you look on my profile in the featured section, I did a dating podcast because my book aligns with dating. I'm teaching you at a young age, but if you dominate the conversation on a date, it will be your first and last date. So make sure you ask about the other person, learn about them, let them talk. So don't lead with yourself because you're going to end up all alone. In my book, I kind of redefine networking, and I'm teaching you at a young age. I wrote this book really primarily because I didn't network, and I want to catch you guys early on. Network. This fraternity is so awesome. What a great way to network. These are lifelong friendships you'll build. Before I wrote the book, networking to me was just going, one-to-one meeting with someone or going anywhere and just dropping off business cards once I had a job. It was just go to some event and hand them out. And after I wrote my book, I realized I want to meet some great people when I go out to an event. And I want to, or if I'm one-to-one with someone, I want to get to know them. Even at an event, I'll meet someone and I'll learn about them, where they're from, or maybe they have a child that it's trying to find an internship, Hey, I've got a son or a daughter at U of I. Oh, what are they focused on? Marketing. How are they doing? Yeah, it's challenging. They're trying to find their first job out of college, so they're graduating, oh, can I get their resume? Maybe I could help out. Sounds crazy, but I do that even right at the beginning. So to me, networking after writing the book, it's really about building relationships, connecting, giving, listening, asking. Tonight we're networking, right? You came to this for a particular reason, and there will be different types of networking events. Theta Xi, David, right? You guys host different things. Get the most out of them. What do you want to get out of that event that you go to? I know you want to have fun, but you also want to build relationships. Get the most out of it. Have a goal and a purpose. Now, something I want to share here. I talk about what I call circles in my book, inner and outer circles. Inner circle, it's everyone here today. This is your inner circle, folks. If you have David and some of the other alums that are on today's call, connect. See if they'll meet with you one-to-one. This is your inner circle, your Theta Xi folks. People that you have as peers, friends. Build the inner circle. Honestly, it's really going to be a lot of your family members. Your close friends. And then I would also say, it has to be family members you like, by the way, that would be in your inner circle. We don't all love all people in the family. But definitely, some alumni that you may be connected to. And in the midst of all that, in your circles, connect with connectors, people that like helping others. I am a connector. David is a connector. So make sure you do that. That's really imperative. And by the way, people in your outer circle, I'm probably outer circle today. Hopefully you see me as a friend to Theta Xi, to all of you, being here for a second time, and David didn't pay me. This is free, right? So I'm here because I want to be here. And so I am hopefully going to be in your inner circle. How can I help you, right? Now, that ties into my 5 words that I like using. And I know you guys probably don't use these words. I didn't, but I'm telling you from this day forward, find a way every day to ask, how can I help you? I know it's going to be hard to do it. Do it. How can you help people? Mentor, coach, tutor. You're building connections. Hey, adding meets your network, that's pretty powerful. David, some of the other alum. And you know what? You can also join charities. That's being a giver, right? You're helping others by being giving, by volunteering of your time. And those are great ways to help others. How about this one? Can you do me a favor? This one, doesn't have a lot of opportunities for responses, right? It really is hard to say no when you ask someone, can you do me a favor? Patrick Donahue, can you do me a favor?
Sure can, Larry. What do you need?
Oh, you are awesome. So I love it when people say that. David knows the only person in my life is my wife of 36 years that says no when I ask for favors, and I accept it. She's allowed that hall pass. But sometimes we will need favors. So I was talking today a lot about, helping others. Sometimes I need favors. A lot of times I need favors to help others. Sometimes I need favors to help myself. Or in this case, I'm going to share a quick story about my son. So, my son, I wanted to help. So, my son, going back to, got his younger years, grade school, all the way into his teens, was bullied. And I experienced that too. And in my day, it was different. It was very physical. So, in my son's day, it was it was more verbal, and then you had social media that made it horrible. And one passion he had during the time he was bullied as he got a little bit older was around the Chicago Blackhawks. And he created an Instagram account with 15,000 followers and was creating these videos of the players, these montage videos. And I have to tell you, the players, their significant others in their world, they were liking those videos. He had quite the following, and that was his passion. So I thought, if I can get my son out of this dark place from being bullied and do something for him aligned with the Blackhawks, that would be a good thing. And so I'm going to talk about Chicago Bears and Blackhawks. And not all of you are from Chicago and maybe like sports or our sports teams, but I will tell you, everybody loves a dog in a hockey costume, and that is my dog. And I'm going to share a real quick story about Desmond Clark from the Chicago Bears and what he did. So Desmond Clark, um, great individual. I met him after he retired from the Chicago Bears, and we built this great, great friendship. He's number 88, formerly of the Bears. By the way, he's in my book on page 88, which is pretty impressive because he told me about it. I did not put him on page 88. That's impossible to write a book and do that. Desmond and I built this mutual friendship. I helped him, he helped me. Nothing expected. It was just a beautiful, natural friendship. And when I wanted to help my son, there was one person I reached out to, and that was Desmond Clark. And I called up Desmond, and like I just got that response today, I said, Desmond, can you do me a favor? And he said, of course. I told him a little bit more than I'm telling you today about my son, but he said, Larry, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help your son, and I'm gonna work it. And he did. And it was roughly about 2 days later, he called me on my cell and he said, Larry, I delivered. You guys are going to the NHL draft at the United Center. So this is probably 8 years ago, maybe, or 8 or 9 years ago, or 7 years ago. And when they're doing the Draft United Center, he said, you're going to be seated at the draft. You're going to have a meet and greet with a past or a current player. And I'm sorry for the few folks that heard this already, like Tristan, but I know, Tristan would want to meet a more current player, right? Not some mature player. But I level set with my son. He was just good to go to the draft and meet a player. So we get there, we're seated. It's awesome. I get a text from Ashley with the Blackhawks to come down for the meet and greet. And we head downstairs. They walk us into this private area. There's a photographer. And then we see these two guys with suits on. One's carrying this box of hockey stuff. So it is Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. Now, even Desmond didn't know this was going to happen. These are the guys, my son, the montage videos were mainly about these two guys. They were in the prime of their career at that time. My son was just beside himself. He was not a very emotional kid during these years. He was he was tearing up. It was an amazing moment. They spent like 15 minutes with him. They gave him all this memorabilia that they signed. They knew his story and we'll never forget it. We still have access to the pictures. It was awesome. And what Desmond did was a huge, huge favor. So sometimes you will need these favors. And the reason I bring up this story is because you guys are going to need favors to get those jobs or to help others. And the time and the way to do it is now to start building relationships and helping other people in the ways I shared with you. And so when you do need that favor, it's a little bit easier to ask. And not everyone is giving, like the folks on today's call, or myself, or David, or Patrick, or others. And there's a lot of takers because I have a chapter about takers never win in my book. Build relationships. It's a lot easier to ask for favors. I will tell you, I see Desmond still. He lives in Florida, comes to Chicago. He's always asking to get together, and we just got together for 2 dinners in the past 2 months. But whatever he needs, I will do for him. And so we have this great, great relationship. Something I'd like you guys to consider doing is to set a goal. I call it an NCG goal. I know a goal you have is, hey, I want to get an internship, an entry level job. I want to get straight A's. I want to be this. I want to be that. This is a goal to help other people. In my book, my goal to help other people was to help someone in transition every week, one person. I crush that goal. I get so many people jobs and give them advice. I love it. Very fulfilling. I told you I'd give you homework. Here's your homework. Today, hopefully, you've been thinking a little bit, self-reflecting. You got to listen more, right? Not, you want to talk, but you want to listen. And think about becoming that giver connector. Build and define your inner and outer circles that we talked about. Set that goal to help other people. Can you meet one new person a month? Now, that could be, I mentioned meeting your professor, department head, asking your family to introduce you to people, meeting some of the folks from Theta Xi that are alumni, going on LinkedIn, connecting with people, asking people to connect, maybe asking them to meet, and then pay this knowledge forward, what you heard today. So I said I would get you out by about 8:15. I think I did pretty good. I am done with my presentation. I hopefully everyone stayed for the most part. Even David said he was leaving at 8 o'clock Central. He stayed.
Yeah,
Let me be
usually people
transparent.
drop
I
out.
did
Oh,
leave.
yeah.
I was supposed to host a board meeting at 8. And because I made you the host and I made Tristan the co-host, figuring, okay, I'm out of here. When I went to join the other meeting, it said end meeting for the others before you can join this meeting. I'm like, Larry's going to kill me if I push that button. So Patrick, who was on the line, he's the treasurer of this organization. He's sending a message out. We moved the board meeting back to 8:30. So we've got 20 minutes.
Okay.
I don't use all 20 minutes, but if guys have questions, this would be a great opportunity just to,
So can we all come on camera? I don't know if it's possible. I know it's not always perfect or easy. I do like Mr. Ray's cat. That's very nice. But love to see people. So, show of hands, did you learn at least 3 new things tonight? Is this helpful? Did you see things in LinkedIn? You're like, I didn't know that you could do that. Like I thought LinkedIn was garbage. You know, people get to TikTok, Instagram. That's my thing. This other LinkedIn stuff, I don't need it. And that's really been an attitude of a lot of people. But I have to tell you, I wish I had it back then. Heck, I wish I had a phone back then. I wish I had internet. You have so many things that we didn't have, right? You know, so I mean, David used to take a horse, to school, in the day. Okay. Yeah, I know it's too late for those jokes. I'm sorry. That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice.
Like dad jokes coming out, Larry. You're gonna have to
I'm
cut those
sorry.
off.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So what did you guys get out of today? Can anyone share, some takeaways, something that you learned, something you're gonna implement or do? Can anyone volunteer and share? Because
Well,
if you
Larry,
don't volunteer, I do pick on you.
this is
So
my second time, but I think I've taken away more stuff from this, definitely. One thing I forgot from the last time is the QR code, and I feel that that makes it a lot easier, especially when you're connecting with people in person. Instead of having to look up the name, you just pull up the QR code, they can scan that, makes it super easy.
yeah, even at your school, you're meeting up with kids. You're like, hey, let's connect on LinkedIn. Do you have the app? And so it doesn't matter. It's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't know that you press the 3 dots to connect. So that's pretty important. I feel like I'm an incoming freshman, so I didn't know that. But
Okay,
good.
that's good. Hey, that's okay. If you're learning something, that's great. Anyone else pick up something new or interesting or inspirational, something you're going to change and do?
One thing I learned was
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Yep.
No, go
I
ahead,
guess I
Jack.
go. One thing I learned, I guess, was the importance of just like your bio and your profile picture. It's really that first impression that helps you get kind of a leg up. If you have a good bio and profile picture, just gets you a good first impression.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, just to prove that point, I won't call him out, but I sent a private chat to one of the guys who was on tonight and said, "You heard him say that." And I said, with all due respect, you need a new LinkedIn profile picture. And it sounds crazy, right? It sounds like, oh, you're being judgmental. You can't tell me what picture I should have on my LinkedIn profile. Hey, this is your online resume. That's what it relates to, right? You want to put your best foot forward, right? You're not in high school anymore. You got to be thinking, hey, I'm going to be in the real world, right? I always joke with my 5 kids. You hear this? You know what that is? That's real world knocking, right? You got to be able to answer. And you know, the advice we're trying to share with you, even though we're sort of dinosaurs, we're quite a bit older. We graduated, in the 80s, 90s. That hey, we're just trying to give you guys a leg up, right? Give you guys an advantage, right? Because sometimes that's all it takes. That's the difference between getting your foot in the door. Maybe it's the difference between getting a good job and a great job. So anyway, keep going, Larry.
No, so here's my last ask. If you can all come off and mute and see if you're listening. You'll have to come off and mute. What were the 5 words I want you guys to ask every day moving forward? So on count of 3, if you can, I'll see if you guys are listening. 1, 2, 3.
How can I
Can
help
I
you?
help you?
Okay. Ask that question. I'm telling you, if you do the things I talked about, you'll get the deck. It will be transformational, and you guys should be in a better position to get internships, jobs, just build stronger relationships. And if you really listened, it will help you in your dating life too. So, so guys, thank you for staying with me this evening. I know it's not easy. And David, thanks for putting this together. And hopefully the knowledge from this recording will be shared, leveraged, and used within Theta Xi. So wishing you guys great success, a great rest of your summer. And if I could ever be helpful, please reach out.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Larry.
Larry.
Thanks for speaking, Larry.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
So,
you.
Tristan, you're going to close the program out, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll share my screen. All right, you see it?
Yeah, I can see that.
Perfect. And Larry was coming out of his own time to do that, so I think that's amazing. They could help us out. Um, so a little more to talk about us. So I've been in contact with a few of you, and that's great. Now we are a part of a larger organization, Theta Xi. We are a fraternity based, of course, in University of Illinois. We offer a scholarship to you guys that are on this call. Scholarship is great for, like in this instance, networking with other students. It connects you guys. There's opportunity for personal growth and enhanced social life when joining a fraternity. Now, being a member of Theta Xi 2.0 also offers you guys founding brother status. Currently, we are recruiting for the founding brother class for Theta Xi, and we are looking for a good, solid foundation of brothers to come together and create something new, create something for themselves, and create a brotherhood here on campus. As I said before, we have the scholarship, and that will award one or two of you with a financial award. In this fraternity, you'll have immediate access to leadership roles. So we're looking for presidents, treasurers in this new class. That could be one of you. It's very easy. It's all open. And this is a great opportunity to shape the chapter's culture. It's up to you guys now. If you do choose to, this is something for you. I know this isn't for everyone. It's a big step, but it offers, like what we've just seen today, connections is everything. And this is what we offer. As far as living goes, in the fall of 2026, we plan to move into one of the premier living locations on campus. If you have had the time to explore and come to campus, there are two great places, 308 and 309 Green Street, right on the main street. Now, these places are top tier living. You've got pools, you've got, I've even seen it myself, a golf simulator, a hot tub, fitness center, and I'm very excited to live there, I'll tell you. So if anyone has any questions about the fraternity or the scholarship, now would be the time. No? All right. David, I think it's to you.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you, Larry, for blocking out time like you have this evening to share some insights with this group. Really appreciate it. Tristan, thanks for your leadership over the summer with the summer events program. And I think all the guys here, I'm not 100%, they've already applied for the Theta Xi leadership scholarships. Tristan spoke a little bit off. It's not just for one or two, but we're prepared to offer 10 or 12 scholarships. So the probability of getting a scholarship is much higher. And if you know of others, this will not dilute your opportunity. It will actually enhance your opportunity. That you've got guys that are going to U of I, classmates of yours, or just guys at other schools that you might know because of your sports or whatever. You know, encourage them to apply. They've got another week from tonight to apply. All the information you need to know is at thetaxi-ab.org. There's a video about the TX 2.0 program. There's the events that we've shared information with those about. There's another virtual event that most of you have signed up for with Warren Rustan on August 7th. A mentor of mine, right? So I'm 64, Larry, Warren is in his mid 80s. And this is a guy that I'm learning from, even at my ripe age. And the book that he wrote, The Leader Within Us, top drawer leadership book, came out a few years ago. And so if you haven't indicated your interest in that program, it's August 7th. And we've already sent books to many of you so that you have a chance to read the book or at least familiarize yourself with it before the August 7th Zoom. And there's a number of in-person events. Many of you have signed up for the Global Leadership Conference. It's a 2-day program. It's like $500 a person. I have a group of 20 that are going, and they're not all students from the University of Illinois. It's a small number, but one of my friends, a guy that I've known for about 30 years, and he's not a speaker, but he could very well have been a speaker at this type of conference, is my friend, Major General John Borling. who was a Vietnam veteran, like a Top Gun pilot, literally. Flew 97 combat missions in Vietnam before he was shot down. And the good news is he lived to tell the story, but he was held as a prisoner of war for 6 years, 8 months, along with John McCain, the former U.S. Senator from Arizona. And he went on to have a 35-year career in the military. That's why he's a Major General, 2-star. And so he's just a guy that's going to be sitting at the table with us, right? So you have a chance to meet a real war hero and just a very down-to-earth guy. And there's a lot of others, right, that you'll have a chance to meet. So I know it's a stretch. Some of you guys have summer jobs that would conflict. I'm not asking you to, not go to work or make this a priority, but if you are available on August 7th and 8th, the Global Leadership Summit takes place live in South Barrington, and then it's beamed out to like 100 locations around the world. So there's something like, I don't know, 10 million people that actually participate, but there's a very small number, like 5,000 or 6,000 that participate live. So that's an opportunity that we're putting out to the guys that have applied for these Theta Xi Scholarship and Leadership Awards. And you should have Tristan's contact information. You've got mine. If you have any questions beyond the scope of tonight's program, don't hesitate to reach out. We look forward to getting to know you a little bit better. And that's really what these summer events are about. Somebody applies and they don't make the effort to participate in programs like this or the ones I referred to, they're not getting the awards, right? We want to know who we're giving the awards to. So thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedules. Congratulations on being accepted in Illinois. It's an extraordinary opportunity, but it's like a lot of other things. It's what you make of it. And if you can embrace some of the principles that Larry was talking about, the ones that I talked about on the July 10th program that you might have missed, go back and watch that 30-minute YouTube video. I know it'll impact your lives. And we look forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Have a great evening. Thanks again.
Thank you.